This man, or rather this character in this movie scene, happens to be an atheist, or a non-believer in religion. Yet, did he just blurt out every faith known to man? Is it just because he was terrified of a catastrophic event happening? Or is there something more to be dug up here? By the way, this scene was taken from the movie 2012, a 2009 sci-fi blockbuster, even being noted as the mother of all destruction movies, circling around the themes of global apocalypse and the destruction of end times. But that is what makes this movie's plot all the more interesting. The human society in this movie was clearly being highlighted as quote-unquote secularists or pro-life and believe in nothing else other than their own beings. When the disaster eventually struck them, they began having faith towards religious ideals or even asking forgiveness from their quote-unquote God, despite it all being already too late. Which begs the question, why? Why would the modern-day world go to such lengths to promote these themes of secularist ideologies, only to then be paired with contradicting elements to its own? Wouldn't it be too confusing? What gives? Now, to understand all these, let's trace our steps back and rewind back in time to when it all started. Oh, wait, not that far. Hang on. Oops, still wrong, just a little bit more. Ah, there you go. The ancient Greeks. For those who are history nerds, they are probably familiar with the ancient Greek history, dating way back almost 3,000 years ago. And who could have blamed them? From the glorious relics and artifacts to the monuments that were left behind, ancient Greece has always been one of the most fascinating pieces of historical events that shaped our world as we know it today. But the most influential of them all were the theater plays. To sum up quickly, the ancient Greek theater comprises of three main types of plays, which are the comedy, tragedy, and satire plays, with the center of attention being the tragedy plays. Now, why is that? Why would their theater be the center heart of the ancient Greek history? And if so, why specifically the tragedy plays? Keep in mind that during this period, the ancient Greek civilization was left on a quest, in search of a faith, something to give them hope or a reason to live for. So, to answer the existential question regarding faith itself, the ancient Greek civilization settled on a method of attaining their faith: theater performance. Take a quick look at most of the famous ancient Greek tragedies around and try to focus on how each story was structured, specifically through the protagonists in the story themselves. Notice the recurring theme here? Where the protagonist began as a hero of a story, but later suffers from their own guilt and pride? Yep. That's the basis of a tragedy play. The ancient Greek believed that by imbuing their concept of hubris, a Greek term defined as one's excessive pride and greed, as the trait of the protagonist that would suffer in this tragedy plays, it served as a doctrine for the audience. And this trend of imbuing moral values for the sake of highlighting the concept of faith and religious motives, it kept going on and took on new styles and forms as time went by. The medieval period with the plays in the 5th century onward to the Renaissance, with a new iteration of literature such as poetry and fiction writing. Drama that follows suit, one way or the other, all have followed the same basis that the ancient Greek have started with, instilling religious and moral values with the intention of having faith and submitting to a god, all in the name of becoming a better person. Simple enough. Until what comes next was the start of a new evolution. 1685. The late 17th century have undergone a new era in world history, designated as the Enlightenment period. And from this point forward, the human civilization has begun their advancements in moving past their previous beliefs or religious motives to moving forward in attaining what they believe to be the next crucial step in human evolution: science. As they realized that they are now able to solve every world problem and live their lives through the power of scientific knowledge and logical reasoning, they started to neglect and detach themselves from what they believed to be quote-unquote the old ways, which, unsurprisingly, was religion. Much to still being devoted over a being called God, and it's not even seeable with the naked eye, makes them all the more confident that they have been enlightened in achieving dominance over life itself. Thus, where the period got its title from. They require a plan. make knowledge-seeking and logical reasoning the main center of living, and separate religious beliefs or so-called superstitions away from their worldly matters, which gave birth to the ideological movement most known until today as secularism. Their objective? To indoctrinate these ideals slowly but surely through every possible chance that they could, down to the even most ordinary life activities during that time. One of the most naive ways that they achieve it is through their forms of entertainment, which led back to, of course, drama. During that process, the Western society tried to instill their secularistic ideals into their entertainment, in which contradicts with what drama was originally intended, to provide religious moral values to the viewers. This project landed a success and gave rise to the number of supporters of said secularistic ideologies. Achievement, the Western civilization was optimistic for the future, which they believed to be bright, all thanks to their advancements. As they all said, everything comes with a price, and what they might have not realized sooner is that their actions will take a toll on their lives forever. Centuries had passed after the presumed new evolution of human civilization, and with it continues the new era of industrialization and advancements of the human civilization. But what might have seemed to be going smoothly as expected, this path that the Westerners have taken has resulted in their own unfortunate demise. Their obsession with seeking knowledge in the name of science and logic has ironically made them ignorant of its consequences for their own lives. With no moral values imbued in their secularistic ideologies, the Westerners' fascination with knowledge has resulted in their own destruction. And if these issues show no signs of ending, the world will be exposed to the collapsing of the Western civilization. With all that said, some of the Western societies nowadays are aware and have grasped the fact that all their wrongdoings are the result of them not having faith anymore. They realize that the moral values that were intended to be taught to them through the entertainment were not present, especially in drama. As such, most modern drama nowadays, like the popular Netflix titles Messiah, Warrior Nun, Good Omens, Lucifer, and the movie Noah, all share a thing in common. They are trying to recapture the essence of having a belief, and with it instilling religious moral values that aims to provide the audience a sense of faith. Sounds familiar? The same reason why the ancient Greek created drama in the first place all those years ago, to imbue moral values to it so that the audience can be assured to have faith, which is something that the Westerner had once tried to abolish, which in turn led them to face their consequences. Plus, everything that the Westerner went through, from being overly prideful and arrogant with their achieved intellect, only to be punished for said reasons and later on trying to repent back by having faith, where has this story been played out before? Oh wait, it's a one-to-one match of how the story of an ancient Greek tragedy play goes. Quite ironic. Drama, in its origins, has always served the purpose of providing human civilization with the concept of a belief or a religion. But that concept of religious beliefs, it was always meant to be the stand-in for the idea of hope. That throughout their lives, humans believe that when they hold on to their moral beliefs, their hope will guide them. But the advancements of Western society rejected those ideals, claiming that the scientific achievement will be the source of their hope until the end. And that action has resulted in both their own social and moral downfall. It's not the end of the world. As the present and the future civilization begin to atone for their past mistakes, the world may begin to heal from the lesson learned. But with all being said, the damage has been done. And what happened will forever be set in stone in the world's history. As J. Robert Oppenheimer said,
"Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."